Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good job, folks. Good job. Thank you for joining us today at Satellite Hours. My name is Aaron Hall. I've had the pleasure of meeting you. I'm the community liaison to the Office of Councilman Tate. To the right, I have Miss Aisha Mitchell, our communications manager. Behind the laptop, we have Reginald Alexander, community coordinator. I think Reggie's chair was bigger than mine. I don't know about that one. I'm offended this time. So let's give our host a big shout out. We have the Motor City Java House behind the counter. And she's making my food, so guys, please be nice. Please do not. I love you. All right, folks. So just want to give you guys a quick rundown of the rules for those who do not know. Okay? Here at Satellite Hours, which take place when? Every first and third from 11 to whenever we get done. That's how it seems to feel every time we come in. To 1 p.m. Might as well say exactly, but yeah. All right. Our first rule is that we treat everyone with respect. All right? Second rule, there are no rules. Except for Aaron. Listen, I did not get up this early to be hazed by people on me. You heckler. This is a stand-up. It does feel like stand-up though, doesn't it? A little bit? All right. So let's go ahead and go around the room. What we're going to do is introduce ourselves. If we're from a community association, we're going to let everyone know what those boundaries are and what that community association's name is. So can I get someone to give the microphone? We're going to start on that side of the room with heckler number 1, Ms. Haynes.
Hi, I'm Diane Hanks. I live in Riverdale. The boundaries are Lassiter Telegraph and 6 Mile.
For Community Block Club Association 8, 6 Mile Laverne, Greenfield, Southfield.
If you haven't noticed by now, when you come to our meeting, we quiz you on your boundaries. All right? So folks like, oh no.
Good morning, Barbara Poindexter, St. Mary's Block Club between Kendall and Schoolcraft.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Clemens, and I'm with the Urban Advocacy Corps.
Okay. Is this your first meeting?
This is my first meeting here at the Java House.
How'd you find out about us?
I go to all the other meetings, so there was a flyer,
Okay.
and I made sure that I put it on my calendar.
Cool. We're glad to have you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ian Watts. I'm the Economic Development Manager for Grandmont Rosedale. The boundaries are Southfield to Evergreen, Schoolcraft to... I'll come back to you. I'll repeat those shortly. I'm drawing a blank. It's too much pressure.
We are streaming live.
Oh, we are streaming live.
Yes, we are.
Brian, help me out.
Help!
Boundaries. Yeah, so
We just have a large coverage area at the GRDC.
yeah, a little weird.
A little weird. Okay, well, we're glad to have you, and we know you have some projects coming up we want you to talk about in a bit, right? Yes.
Oh, good morning, everyone. I'm going to
Oh,
stand.
she
so
stood up.
all
Look at
of
her.
you.
Okay.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Thought she was going to sing.
Yeah, no. My name is Lisa Hicks Clayton. I'm the community liaison for Senator Betty Jean Alexander's office, which is a Fifth Senate, which include all of you. So I'm here to say hello and thank you for being here and hosting this. And I did bring some information, but it's great to join you this evening in
Thank
the
you.
heat.
Oh, yeah.
Morning.
I sweat my hair out already. Listen, I would pay to see that.
My name is Tawan Downs. I am on Burt Road, not too far from here, on 7 Mile. I heard about this through the McKinsey Center.
McKinsey, okay.
Yes, in which was looking to find some more volunteer work to do. I just recently came back from Little Rock, Arkansas, which the Lord allowed me to do a whole lot of great things there, so I'm looking to do it here.
Amen. Well, you came to the right places. I got some work for you. Thank you.
Benny Latimer, Hayden Street Block Club, 6 Mile to Grand River.
Okay.
Annette Flowers,
Fenwell Summit Block Club between Puritan and Florence.
Paulette Watson. I can't think today.
I'm everywhere.
I'm at Block Club between 6 Mile and 7 Mile, Southfield to Evergreen.
O'Hare Park.
Yeah.
Brianne Bell, GRDC, same boundaries as Ian. I am the Economic Development Specialist and then the Workplace Manager located at Grand River.
What's the workplace?
The workplace is a wonderful co-working space that we have, and it's located right next to Little Caesars. And we have about 27 businesses that work out of there. So come visit me if you guys are interested.
Certainly. We have some people behind. Ma'am? Oh, yeah.
Hi, my name is Ann, and I don't live in this area. I live in Dearborn, but
Security.
I'm harmless. But I'm always interested in what's going on in this area because I used to live right up the road here.
Where?
So, Lasher. Right
Lasser.
Right down the road here. So,
Okay.
I'm interested.
We are so glad to have you. How'd you find out about the meeting?
Well, actually, I'm a supporter of the Motor City Flight Busters.
Okay, cool.
Part of the family. The
Okay, so
George
you
family.
get a pass. You're all right. We like you.
Yeah,
We
okay,
like
thanks
you.
a lot.
Is he here with you?
Yes, I am.
Hello.
My name is Dan Madigan. I'm from Ann Arbor, but I'm here with Ann. I've been here before in this community. My grandmother and grandfather helped raise me here when I was a child, right down the street.
Oh, wow.
Here and I have an interest in some properties in this area at this time.
Okay. Well, we are glad to have you both here from Dearborn and Ann Arbor. We got neighbors with us today. All right. To my folks who are, oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Hi, I'm Cassandra. I
Hey.
live on Thatcher and Lasher.
Thatcher and Lasher. Okay. Hey, Cassandra. We have another two.
Good morning. I'm Tamara Kirkland. I live in the Pembroke and Lonsor area. Pembroke and Lonsor area.
Pembroke and Lonsor. Okay. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Harrison, and we live in D1 on Grand River 6 Mile.
Grand River 6 Mile. Here, and you're what?
I'm not a precinct delegate.
Okay, just checking. All right. So if you have a title, we'd like to announce that too, just to make sure that, you know, potentially some of your residents are in the room as well. And to my folks watching at home, everybody say, hey! It's funny, I actually went to a community meeting yesterday, the School Craft Improvement Association. They told us how they get a lot of their meeting information from our live stream. So if they're not here in person, they're probably commenting on the feed on Facebook. So hey, Brian, hey, School Craft Improvement Association. Okay, couple of quick updates. Have you guys grabbed a flyer on your way in here for the District 1 evening community meeting on August the 8th? We actually listen. So folks say that, hey, well, I want you to have one in the evening. You know, it's kind of hard to get there Saturday morning. I have my sorority meeting and I have to take the grandbabies to basketball practice and so on and so forth. Well, we have one for you on August 8th over at the McKinney Center from 6:30 to 8 o'clock p.m. Okay? 6:30 when we need you there, though, at the McKinney Center. The address is on the flyer. I bet you Reggie knows the address. Reggie, what's the address? 19750 Burt Road. Little known fact, Reggie knows the address to every building in District 1. Did you know that? He's amazing. Okay, so we hope to have you out there. We have a lot of interesting topics. Anybody know what neighborhood enterprise zones are? Anybody want to know? Okay, we'll come on August the 8th and we'll let you know. A little suspense, but it's an amazing opportunity. You can, but I'll give you a little tidbit. What if I told you that you could save on your property taxes for 15 years if you fill out a form and you live in a certain area? All right, well, there are some changes coming to District 1. We want you to make sure you're abreast of the situation, okay? Yes, ma'am. Microphone? I know, you're working. It's cool. Just wait 1 second. We need the people at home to be able to hear you. As if my voice wasn't annoying enough without the microphone, right?
I was wondering
wondering if
You gotta hold it to your mouth though. You gotta hold it up.
Okay, I was wondering if a new owner of the property would transfer to another
See,
owner.
I'm giving you too much information, but you had to have bought the house after the year 1996. Okay.
Okay.
That's one of the stipulations.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
No more information. You got to come out and find out about it. Okay. Come to me. Will I see you there?
I hope so.
Who goes to church? Everybody turn to your neighbor. So I will see you on August the 8th. That's a Thursday. Right before bingo. After Jeopardy. A little bit after Days of Our Lives. Okay. We need to make sure you are there. All right, folks? Cool. Yes, ma'am. Michael, you got to wait. You got to wait a second. You got to wait. Hey, officer, how's it going, man?
Was that after 96 or before 96?
After the year 1990.
After?
After. There may or may not be exemptions. You just have to come find out. Huh? You gotta wait on the microphone. I hate that job. Now you all know. Side note before she speaks, just to help our staff out, okay? I know a lot of us like to play the game of we won't look at the person, we'll wait till they walk past to wave our hand for the microphone. A little small stuff, but it's kind of hard. I said, does anybody have a comment? And I'll make my way across the room, and all of a sudden the person way over there will be like, well, I had my hand up. No, you didn't. You should have seen me. I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Mom.
No, I just asked that one question. Is the mayor going to be there?
I don't know. You have to come find out.
Oh, come on now.
I'm just getting good at building suspense, all right? So let's start on this side of the room, folks. If you have any questions, we can potentially help answer before we actually get the ball rolling today. We got a new guy in the back, too. How's it going, man? Are you here for the meeting? Hey, if you're here for the meeting, the coffee's free. Hey, you want to join us for a second? He's like, yeah, I was here for the meeting the whole time, folks. I'm just trying to look out, man. High five. No, it's not a Republican meeting. You are in City Council District 1. This is our satellite hour meeting. Thank you so much. All right, folks. Anybody have a comment, question, or concern? Any way we can talk? We can start on this side of the room. Going. There we go.
Is Councilman Tate coming?
Today?
Yeah.
We'll just have to find out and see. It is coming. It's coming. I mean, it worked the first couple times. I figured I'd keep going. You know, like, we don't want you.
Well, can I wait for him?
Fine.
No, but I want this to get to him. It's something we've talked about before. So.
Yes, he will be here, and he'll get to you.
Okay.
We're coming. Hello again.
Hello again. So my name is Kimberly, and I'm with the Urban Advocacy Corps.
Yes.
And my comment is, I'm just tired of what's happening within the 8th precinct in our community with domestic violence.
Right.
So we're looking to partner with different block clubs, different businesses and organizations throughout the district and throughout the 8th precinct. And what we're doing is we're asking businesses and community leaders to start having conversations, and we want to be able to come in to help you get solutions to those. We can do trainings with trauma. We can do trainings with just talking about how not to be judgmental and how to be helpful for intimate partner violence or partner violence or gender-based violence. Anything that we can do to be helpful, because we're tired of it.
Right.
So thank you.
Before you put the microphone down, so you have an audience, you have a broadcast going on right now. How do we get in touch with you?
You can get in touch with me. I'm with the Wayne State Center for Urban Studies, and there's a direct number, which is 313 577 9382.
Everybody write that down. Let's do it one more time. In post-production, we're going to put the bouncing ball on the numbers.
Wonderful. It's 313 577 9382. And if you want to host a community conversation, just contact that number and we'll get in contact with you. I also want to leave my cell phone number, which is 734.
Wait, be careful. You sure?
734
Okay.
286 5979. And for me, it's really important.
Gotcha.
I'm tired of it in my family. I'm tired of it on my block, in my community. I'm also a licensed cosmetologist, so people come and sit in my chair and they talk about it and we send them off. So we're putting posters up in beauty salons in the community and bathrooms and major businesses. So we want to be able to help lower that in our community.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have one of our MPOs who joined us. We'd like to have him come to the front and just tell us who he is and what our coverage area is and some of the changes that have gone on in the precinct. You want to come to the front, man? Come on, you don't hide in the back.
There you go.
It's like I wasn't counting on speaking today. We got cabinets galore. Ta-da.
Okay, good still morning time. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Officer Wesley. I'm the MPO officer for the 8th Precinct. My area is somewhat of 7 Mile, Evergreen, 8 Mile to 5 Points. Right. Sort of like a square a little bit. So I'm the new MPO officer for that area. Corey Marshall retired, and he left me a heavy job.
So for those who don't know, who knows what an MPO is by show of hands? All right. So what are some of the responsibilities for a neighborhood police officer? So if they shooting outside, who do you call?
Yes.
There you go.
911. Do not call that MPO officer at 9:30 at night.
Just kidding. So could you kind of explain some of your responsibilities when you had something added to your plate recently?
Oh yeah. Recently, this is really important for you guys to know, is that citywide the MPO officers have been assigned out on a board up, Operation Board Up. And the Operation Board Up consists of, they think that we're actually doing a board up. We are not actually doing the board up. We follow the city truck, the city vehicles around. What we do is clear the vacant houses so that the board up team could come behind us and board up all the vacant houses in the city of Detroit. We at approximately 1,400 now, and we've been at it about a month and a half. So we're hitting some pretty good numbers right now. Pretty good numbers on boarding the homes up.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. Let's give the officer a round of applause, please. We appreciate all that you do. Ms. Weathersby, did you have your hand up? Okay. The microphone on the next person, please. The microphone's not on. 1 second. Sorry about that. While we figure out our technical difficulties, let's take an opportunity. Everyone, please give me a round of applause as we bring up to the stage our very own Councilman James Tate.
Good morning, everyone. Audio is on bump today. I like that. Yeah, it does. So how's everybody doing on this hot Friday? A little muggy, but feels good in here in the Java House, right? Yeah? All right. So we're working out. It sounds like we got some technical difficulties with the microphone. Do we have another one? So before we go, and right now we don't necessarily need a mic. We got a very special guest that showed up today. She's always got a crazy schedule, but she was able to attend today, but she's going to have to leave at some point because she's got another event. You know how we do it. We have with us today Senator Sylvia Santana. If you can give her a round of applause, please. Want to come and say a couple words? We don't never want to miss an opportunity to talk to our senator. No, you come on, Senator, up here.
Well, good morning, everybody. Yes, I'm State Senator Sylvia Santana. I represent a small portion of District 1 that overlaps with Councilman Tate, but I'm just happy to be here today just to provide a couple legislative updates for you. Right now, we are still in the budget process. Right now, but we're waiting to go back into session to actually finalize the budget. So there's a couple areas where there's significant changes from the Republican side, especially on the education piece. We want to make sure that we continue to fund education adequately in the state. We're already underfunding education, so the governor proposed putting more money into education, especially at the local level. Here in the city of Detroit, making sure that students, the per pupil allotment is almost close to $500 per pupil, in addition to that's a part of Foundation Alliance, but in addition to the per pupil allotment, so increasing those dollar amounts. We did increase that part of the budget maybe 2 years ago, but that is something that we really want to see done, especially for our CT career technical students as well as our special needs students. We want to make sure that we're putting more money into that budget. But I also have a legislative update for those of you who actually reside in my district. There are several pieces of legislation that I've been working on in Lansing on behalf of our constituency. One of the key ones what we found is that there's more businesses like your Amazons of the world who are starting to open up more consumer-based businesses, or like your local convenience stores. And so they're not accepting cash transactions. They only are using your apps, your cash apps, or if you use a card, they want to use that. But we still have 5 to 6.5% of the state of Michigan who solely operates with cash. We have a lot of individuals who use the postal service as their banking methods. They get money orders and then they pay their bills. So we want to make sure across the board that people still have access to being able to operate with a cash tenure. That is our tenure of the United States, and so that is something that we want to make sure that it continues. 12 other states have already enacted legislation that mandates that businesses still have cash transactions, and so we will continue to work on that effort. For locally here, I actually put in some legislation at the top of the year and last year to make sure that people like your councilman can still do their job and not have to worry about state balance. So the council as well as our mayor can actually conduct those everyday businesses for our constituency without having state oversight at this point. So that is also something that I put in at the top of the year, repealing the grand bargaining laws. So that's something that I hope that we will get done within the next year or a couple years down the road. So keep that in mind. Insurance. In my district, we will have a town hall at the Fordson High School in Dearborn. That's at the corner of Schaefer and Ford Road on the 25th of July from 6 to 8 p.m. Feel free to come out. Myself and Representative Abdullah Hammoud will actually be taking questions as well as disseminating information as to what that process looks like moving forward, because it will not actually go into place until July of 2020, but we want to make sure that constituency have at least some of the nuggets of what that new legislation will look like into the future, and making sure that constituency understand how that works with your health care and also your auto insurance premiums and coverages. So those are some of the areas that we've been working on. Always glad to serve. We have coffee hours every other month in the city of Detroit. We just had them in July. Feel free to reach out to my office if you have any questions, or if there's anything that I can do as your state senator to help support you at the state level. I sit on the Health and Human Service budget, which impacts our community significantly. And so we're working very hard to make sure that seniors have support services, making sure that with home repairs that we're able to provide local nonprofits with funding to help support some of those repairs. That's still in the works though. And so I hope that we will be able to bring that to be realized here in this next budget cycle. So thank you all very much. God bless you. And any questions?
Any questions?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, certainly. I'm sorry, I did go all over the place. The number to reach our office is 517-373-8255. 0990. And I also have a legislative update that I'll pass out to everyone, so you can look at some of the legislation and things that I've been doing on your behalf. All right, thank you all so much. Thank you, Councilman Tate, for giving me latitude on the floor. I look forward to always working with you in partnership for the state level, and if there's anything that we can do to make our work here easier, let me know as well.
We certainly will, and I think you all need to understand that this is not election time. She's not coming here just because it's election time. She's here because this is something important to her. Anyone have any questions by chance?
Any other questions? Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I want to thank you. My name is Rhonda Mitchell. I'm precinct delegate for precinct 278, District 1.
Okay.
I really like to thank you because I received some literature from you.
Okay.
I've been living in this community for the past 42 years. Never knew who my senator was. Never knew who the representative of our district was. And I think I want to tell you how much I appreciate you for coming around and making yourself known to our community.
Absolutely, not a problem. Yes, definitely. For me, it's about touching every constituent. So even when we're not in session or we're not, we're not busy doing work on your behalf in Lansing, I always try to be at the meetings or even in the district doing legislative walks. If you receive a bag on your door from me with a lot of good information, that's because we're out in the district. I pull my staff out of the office and we work the district because ultimately I want to touch everyone, and maybe the state budget does not cover the expenses we need to mail to everyone, but we want to get at your door and talk in the off season and see what we can do on your behalf. Yes?
Could you help me to understand about the amount of money each student receives? My understanding is part of the money that was designated for each student is taken away because they have to pay a previous debt from the previous school administrators.
Right. So
I was wondering how that was coming.
So currently what is happening, you probably got Sharice here too. She gives a good update on that from DPS. But what I'll say is that as far as obviously we're still paying off a debt that we incurred from the budgets not being balanced. And so what's happening is that your tax dollars currently are going towards that particular debt that we still owe for the school system. So now what we have is you have the old debt, and I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe it's around 27 million or so or more. Yes, 27 million is what's owed. I think that's approximately right. I'll verify that number. But that's what our current tax dollars are going towards. But then you also have a per pupil allotment funding that comes from the state, in which we are still funding per pupil funding as well for the students. That's why the governor is trying to put more into education for per pupil spending to make sure more money is going into the classroom. So for Detroit, for example, that would be $496 in a would have a foundation allowance of an additional almost $500 per pupil, which would be a significant amount to our students. We are, I don't want to get it, we're working on a piece of legislation as well. I'm not going to get into it, but hopefully if we can get this legislation done, it will also be an additional revenue to the neighborhood schools to make sure that they're supported with a per pupil allotment spending that's in addition to what currently we fund. Yeah, so. Any other questions? Well, thank you all so much. It's been an honor to be here. I have some legislative updates. I will pass those out. There's legislation that I've been working on, and also it just gives you kind of a performance evaluation. I work for you, and I will never forget that. So thank you.
Our state senator, Sylvia Santana. Thank you again, as always, and you are, as I said before, always welcome. Thank you. So Mike's working now. So did we do introductions and all that stuff yet? We did everything. All right, so we're into the meeting now.
They told me they didn't want me no more. And said it too. Get her.
So we're going to How many new faces? I see a couple of new faces, new people in here today for the very first time. 1, 2. I see you in the neighborhood all the time. I just don't see you at the meetings. But thank you all for being here. How did you find out about the meeting? We always ask that question. And if we can take the mic. Oh, there it is. Looking at me. How did you find out about the meeting? And what brings you here today?
Good morning. My name is Tanya Smith, and I'm with Gift of Life MOTEP Minority Organ Tissue Transplant Education Program. Sorry for being late. I have been getting over here to District 1 meeting for a while. We partner with District 2 already with Councilman McAllister, so I said it was going to be a goal of mine to make sure that I get into the community to help with education. Over in District 2, we have done a health fair, and so just trying to maybe implement that here in District 1 with you, Councilman. But I want not to ask for something on my first visit, but I do want to get with a police officer that is in this neighborhood. We're willing as an organization, as a company, to bring our employees to help with the board up if that's an option for us. And we want to give back. So one other thing, we're having a walk that's coming up on Saturday. I'll leave some flyers, but thank you so much, and I'll be a regular face moving forward. Thank you.
We appreciate you being here. One more time, name your organization, how folks who are, because we also have individuals watching on streaming. They're right behind you.
Oh, okay. Gift of Life MOTEP Minority Organ Tissue Transplant Education Program, and our efforts are to educate the community regarding the need for us to join the registry. And so it's sometimes a difficult conversation to have, but it's something that saves lives. So
when you say us, who are us?
African American, Latinos, and Arab Americans are lowly represented on the list on the registry, and so our efforts are to go out wherever we can to speak the message, to dispel the myths, to just educate the community regarding the need. We partner with the Secretary of State, and they allow us, and they maintain a database for us. And so to join the registry, all people would have to do is provide their name, their ID number, their driver's license number, and their date of birth, and they're on the list. And if an opportunity or should occur where you are pronounced brain dead, which is the only way to be an organ donor, then they will evaluate you to see if you can obviously save someone's life. Here in Michigan, more than 3,000 people are waiting on a life-saving transplant, of which 2,400 of those people are waiting on a kidney alone. And that's all ethnic groups. There's about 1,500 African Americans waiting right now today for a kidney transplant.
So there's a need. So we actually may have you come back at a District 1 monthly meeting and give a full presentation. Because I think that's a message that a lot of people need to hear.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people just not aware.
Absolutely.
They don't know how they can be a part of that solution. So thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And so we have someone else here, new first timer. Please introduce yourself.
I introduced myself. My name is Lisa Hicks Clayton. I'm the community liaison for Senator Betty Jean Alexander's office, who does have part of this district as well. I brought some cards for her, how to reach her. And what we're doing is we're building those bridges and having connections. And I found out about your meetings by calling your office, because I wanted to request a meeting so we can talk about community partnerships.
Awesome. And I believe, so we've been reaching out to you guys, and Reggie, if I'm not mistaken, we have a tentative yes for the senator to attend the September District 1 monthly meeting. So we are definitely building those bridges. It is important for us to make sure that we don't just live in a little silo here in District 1, because we've got to understand that everything we do here affects others outside of even District 1, but we have to build a relationship with our representatives as well as our senators in Lansing as well, because there's legislation that affects us all. And we all need each other's man and woman power to push those pieces of legislation together.
Working together for our communities, absolutely. And I did have an announcement, but I don't know if this is a time.
Sure,
you want.
time.
As you know, Attorney General. I'm sorry?
Keep the mic up to you.
Oh, yes, thank you. I turned my head when I talked. Look at people.
But come on up.
Okay.
Turn around facing. We don't have any hard rules like that here. You're all good.
So what I want to share with you is, Attorney General Dana Nessel has established an elder abuse task force. and she has been traveling throughout the state offering town hall meetings. We do, through the Senator's Office and State Representative Joelle Jones, which is 11th House, have a town hall meeting coming up. We want to know you're all invited to come to this town hall meeting. And that meeting is going to be on Monday, August 26th. It's at 2 p.m. And it's at Booker T. Dozier Rec Center, which is in Inkster, 2025 Middle Belt. So again, we want you to come and join us because Dana Nessa will be sharing updates, and also we want to hear from you what's important. Someone had mentioned about domestic abuse and things of that nature, which is so very, very important, and I will be reaching out to you, by the way. But also elder abuse is really very common among our communities and our families, and so important we have the conversation. And we work with the Attorney General and the task force to address those issues. So you're all invited again, August 26th.
So folks want, if people who are watching on, don't exchange this yet. Address one more time?
The address 2025 Middle Belt, and that's in Inkster. And it's the Recreation Center, Booker T. Dozier Recreation Center.
And once again, we are streaming live, and we're going to be recording this, and so folks are going to see it even outside of this meeting. For anyone who's watching who wants to get in touch with Senator Alexander's office, what's the best number to contact?
So I brought these cards, and you're all welcome to them, but I'm going to give you the direct phone line, 517-373-0994. That's 517-373-0994. And we do have a website as well, so you can see legislative updates, what the senator's working on, which is senatoralexander.com.
And will that be a way for, because a lot of people, to be honest, we vote, but we don't always know what district we live in. And we don't know, we just had a state senator here, we have another representative from a state senator. How would they know if they live in Senator Alexander's
You
district?
can call our office, we'll help direct you with that. We don't have a problem with that, getting that information for you.
All right, thank you so much. We appreciate you being here. You're always welcome. All right, so now,
This is another new person.
who we missed? Yeah, I know he was being shy. He's like, I didn't raise my hand. Really?
Oh, okay.
That's what's up.
What brings you from? I was like, I already mentioned myself. So my name is Tawan Downs. My name is Tawan Downs. I'm from this area. I just came back now from Little Rock, Arkansas. Now it's where I went to the University of Arkansas now to go and grab my degree. In which now I'm here now to gain more information on the stuff that's going on in the community where I can volunteer more. So I am listening and seeing if there's anything that you guys may need help with. I'll be more than happy to help you guys out with as a volunteer. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I am listening, and we'll be kind of bugging some of you guys.
No, it's not a bug. This is what we do. We work and collaborate. So what you moved from Arkansas. So you're from here.
I'm from Detroit.
You moved to Arkansas, and now you're back. Where you live in District 1? Or?
So I had, well, I'm originally from the east side of Detroit. I graduated from Pershing High School, John J. Pershing.
Okay.
I went off to college in the University of Arkansas, Pine Bluff, in which I graduated from there. And then thank you. And
one hand clap in the room.
In December of 2017, and out there in Arkansas, God allowed me to do a whole lot of great things out there, working with the kids, working with those that's in need. So now I just recently moved back here to Detroit to help take care of my mom, in which I am also looking for volunteer work here. In this area, I am on Burt Road. So I'm just looking for more volunteer work to get involved in my community.
So you
marketing.
Oh, all right. So we got a lot of folks in the room who would love to have your services. They see your muscles as well as your marketing. And they will utilize all those things. So just welcome back. And any way that we can help from our office, we want to lend you support there. But get a chance to, even if you don't get a chance to meet everybody here today, come to the meeting on the 8th. We always have opportunities to meet folks within the neighborhood, and there's so many ways to get involved.
Oh, yeah. And this gentleman right here said he had a lot of volunteer work for me, so I will be talking to him towards the end of the service.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you again for being here, and again, welcome back. Welcome back. So, for those who have not been here before, what we do is we just go around the room and ask if there's any questions or concerns. And there's no rules, there's no silly question, stupid question, no question you should already know the answer to. We're just here to try to be of service to you and address the issues that you have. Some may be complaints, some may be compliments. We'll take those too. Some may just be statements, but all are valid. So we'll. Welcome to our world.
And I have to say, the ones in the neighborhoods I really supported, because I'm experiencing that in my neighborhood. Despite they're tearing down a lot of the homes, which is a improvement, but the residents, not outsiders, are not showing any more pride. In fact, I'm seeing less. And without code enforcement officers going around daily, I'm repeating complaints about the same people all the time, so I'm pretty much frustrated and about ready to stop. So that said, I read something disturbing this morning from CNN, and it's about dollar stores. Have you?
No, I didn't see this morning.
They are growing, and their strategy is to open stores within a mile of each other in poverty areas. And what they're doing in food deserts, as they call them, is discouraging grocery stores with fresh food and stuff for the people. So they're actually defeating the purpose of what all these gardeners are trying to do and stuff. So I think that that's something for you to look into as a legislator, so that you limit. And one city has done that, and it's in the article first from CNN. And I had no idea this was part of it. So I think it's something really important that the council needs to consider.
And just to be clear, it's limiting the number of dollar stores within the city or within a certain area. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, because they're so concentrated. They're scaring away other people that might be selling good food at a reasonable price. Because they don't sell any fresh food. They just have snacks, canned goods and stuff like that.
Refrigerated items and things like that. Okay, we'll look into it. I hadn't seen that one this morning, but I'll take a look.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
All right, well, thank you.
I did raise my hand.
Good morning.
But good morning. In the community with my work, it does give me an opportunity to meet a lot of people who live in the community, and it really does show that you take pride in your community. I live in District 7, and I'm telling you, it's an awesome thing what you're doing in the community. But I want to ask you, as I'm going to different businesses here talking about the Urban Advocacy Corps, where we're talking about partner violence and getting people to come together so we can get a solution and talk about ideas of how we can end that, right? When I'm going into the businesses, I'm asking them if they know who their councilman is, if they come to the meetings, and at least 15 of the businesses have told me no. So I'm giving information, but is there like a packet or a way that I can refer them to you, or is there information that I can have, and as I'm going, I can just leave it where they can post it? Because I'm posting things in their business, but I want them to be more aware of what's happening, because they are great business people in the community, and I'm going up and down the boundaries of the 8th precinct. So how can I help them know more about it?
So we have Aaron Hall, who is one of the leaders of our Discovery One, a small business initiative, as well as Edwina King, and they do some of the same things. We also have Tanisha Johnson, who works on behalf of the DEGC. So we have a group of folks who are doing just that, introducing ourselves. The challenge we have, and Aaron will tell you all too often, many of those business owners, what will happen is you'll go in and you'll meet someone who's there, and there may not be the owner. And then you put in all this effort, and then you have to go back. and back and back. And we're talking about it. Within District 1, I know you're aware, we have the only district that has a district director of all the businesses that are located in it. He's having a hard time getting them just to participate and give us the information that we need to help them. So it's a two-way street. Some are doing an awesome job, and they have everything we're looking for on the website. The hours of operation, the name of the business, the legal name, how to get in touch with them, all of the stuff, website or social media if they have it, but others, they will shoo them away. Don't want you to take a picture of their business. I don't want anything. And typically those are the businesses that seem to be not friendly to the community as a whole. So they have this idea of if we build it, they will come. And unfortunately, that's not always the case. And so we reject it, and we're trying to reverse that mentality, but it's very difficult when the businesses don't want to reach out to the community. So we do have packets, we have information we would love to provide you. We need as many soldiers out there that's helping us as possible. So Aaron will get with you before the end of the meeting or at the end of the meeting and give you whatever information that we can provide you. But we're doing the same thing, and it's a challenge. It is a major, major challenge.
I really appreciate that. And the businesses that I'm mainly referring to are the salons. Mm-hmm. So when I go in there, they have the boards and everything up. And like you said, sometimes I am speaking with the stylists or the barbers, but not the owners. But they absolutely need the information. So however I can help get that to them when I'm out there, I'm doing that.
So we realize that that's a challenge. So you all, most of you are parts of block clubs or community associations, precinct delegates, you name it, you're already involved and engaged. And that's why we're trying different avenues to get people who may not be in the room engaged and aware and informed of the things that are going on. So that's why we stream all of our meetings. So if you can't be here, we want to make sure that we can just point and click, hey, this is what we talked about that day. You can even type in, as you see it, Aisha right now is on the computer on our Facebook page, making sure there's any comments that are on there, ladies and gentlemen, that if you have any questions that you want answered, then we'll have an opportunity to do that. So we also have this thing called Tape Talks. Like the TED Talks, but these are Tape Talks, where we go out, I go out to businesses and have just a and take in any questions and concerns that they have. We were just, 2 weeks ago? It was last week. Last week, time flies. Last week over at Cut 'em Up Lounge, Cut 'em Up Barber's Hair and Nail Salon over on Greenfield off of Schoolcraft. And it's the owner of the establishment. Aisha went over, talked to them. We didn't advertise it on social media because that's not what it's all about. We want to meet the people who are in the room that day and explain to them who we are, what we do, how can we intersect and engage with each other. And it was a wonderful time, and they learned new things. We were able to take in some community concerns that we weren't aware of ourselves. So we've got to get out of the building, out of the room, out from downtown, all this stuff, and go into these spaces because everybody's not going to come to us. So we're trying a whole bunch of different ways to communicate and get that information out. We're still struggling to do it in certain ways, but I think we're doing pretty well. But we need you all to continue to spread the word too. So thank you, and Aaron will get you any and all information that he can to help you help us. Thank you, Ken.
Good afternoon again, everyone. I received a call from someone from Brightmoor Alliance, and I think when they called me, I had to think about it, but I think this is a very important topic that they discussed. They asked me how many caregivers were in my community, or did I know how many caregivers were on my block. We have a lot of autistic individuals. We have a lot of young people with parents with dementia and Alzheimer's. And a lot of times people don't know where to turn. Well, I'm asking you guys, I have a card here if you are interested in passing it along. We are, I am the owner of LLC HRS Home Health Care Services, which help respite services, help you to get a break. If you have a parent, grandparent, a child that's autistic, we need to know what's in our community and who is available to help us. So I think it's very important. Our grandparents have helped raise us, and if it wasn't for the grace of God, with our grandparents' prayers and helping us out, we wouldn't be here. So I am the type of person, I do not believe in putting an elderly person in a home, the care facility. I don't believe in that. I believe that if it wasn't for them, I would not be able to do what I'm doing today because of their love, their grace, and the mercy that they've had on us. So if you know anyone who is in need of a caregiver, please take my card, give me a call, and I can connect you to someone, if I can't do it, who will be available to give you that service. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on this side? Any other questions, concerns on this side? Okay, so we hit this side. Before we go to this side of the room, I want to talk a little bit about one of the biggest topics that people are talking about today, and that's facial recognition technology. Yeah. All right, so feel we should be moving on this item. So what I want us to do is have a real in this discussion. There's this side and there's that side. You have some folks who say, I don't care, they can take pictures of me all day long because I'm not doing anything. I don't have a problem with it. Then you have the other folks who say, no, because it's Big Brother and the technology is flawed. No, no, no. Until you get it right 100%, do not implement it. So I have an obligation to listen to both sides and try to figure out what's the right solution. Now, clearly, what I think is we have to have a policy. Right now, we don't have a policy. We've been utilizing it from the city standpoint within the police department, and we didn't have a policy. That is not acceptable from me and any of my colleagues. So now the policy part of it is going to the Board of Police Commissioners to have to create a policy around what that looks like. And we've been discussing this in my office. Got a lot of young folks in my office, some of them, everything that they do is on the computer, on the phone, an app, this. And I was telling my team, I'm a little more old school. I keep pretty much, I don't hope nobody rob me, but I keep a lot of my stuff in my pocket, you know, in my wallet. That's where my life is. So again, it's a little bit of both, right? So I've got to listen to both sides. If you are against it, period, facial recognition technology, period, raise your hand. Okay. If you're willing to have a discussion, conversation about facial recognition technology with proper protocols in place, raise your hand. Okay. If you don't care about the protocols, anything, raise your hand. All right. So see. Talk about the fact, Tracy, I saw you said that you are completely against it, 100%. Aaron, if you can bring the mic over here. Why are you 100% against the technology?
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Attorney Tracy Martin, and I'm with Motor City Justice, PLL. Really at the fore when it comes to criminal justice reform. And so we talked about this at one of your meetings a couple of weeks ago. It was a hot topic then, and it seems like ever since then it's really picked up a lot of momentum. And I've attended all of the Board of Police Commissioners meetings, except for one that addressed facial recognition technology. I also addressed this topic on television on Let It Rip Weekend with Charlie Langton and Moriel Liu. And
was Roy McAllister was on there too?
Yes, your colleague, Councilman Roy McAllister, was on that panel, as well as Tawana Petty, who's also attended all the meetings, and Pastor Mo. And so this is what I see. I'm against facial recognition technology completely. Black. And this technology has been proven flawed because it has difficulty in recognizing Black faces. It misidentifies Black women as men, and it misidentifies Black men. So I see that as problematic. But this is what I see. I think that this technology is going to eventually be implemented because, as Councilman Tate talked about, we're in a climate where, there's an embrace of technology. I'm all for technology. I'm one of the most technologically adept attorneys out here using in my practice. So I'm not against technology, but I'm for technology used properly with a proper policy and legal framework. And this is what I mentioned to the Board of Police Commissioners meeting on June 13th in the community. So I didn't get a chance to address this yesterday at the Board of Police Commissioners meeting because I had another meeting to go to and it took 2 hours to get to public comments.
We don't take that long.
I know, and I thank you for that, Councilman Tate. Thank you. And I'm going to wrap this up soon because I want to hear from everyone else. But what I am proposing is this, and Chief Craig is also inviting members of the community to visit the Detroit Real-Time Center so that citizens and the Board of Police Commissioners and you, I don't know if the invitation has been, you've seen it already, how it works, and I would like to see that in action, how it actually works. But I practice criminal defense, and so I don't know if you know this or not, but 365 days a year, 24/7, you have licensed attorneys going out and helping the police department make sure that police lineups and show-ups and photo arrays are constitutionally correct. I think that if Chief Craig is going to eventually implement facial recognition technology, not in surveillance purposes, but for still photographs, as he suggests, then there should be a lawyer present at all times like we do with police lineups, show-ups, and photo arrays. And we need an additional proper legal framework. And that's a whole nother discussion. It's very complex. But I do think that you need lawyers there because I heard Chief Craig say that this is the current proposed protocol, that there is going to be an FBI-trained first analyst who's going to review the photographs, and then an FBI-trained second analyst, and then there's going to be a supervisor who's going to review their analyses, and there must be concurrence. And so Chief Craig uses the term best practices and that there's rigor involved in the protocols. Well, I think that a best practice and rigor in implementing this technology, deploying it throughout the city, must include oversight by attorneys who are versed in the technology. And I would like to be one of those attorneys. So that is how I feel about it. I'm all for privacy rights and civil liberties, and I really would like to hear what other people have to say about it.
All right. So it sounds like right now. So let me ask this first, because I was even confused the way that it was presented, and I had a meeting with the chief of police and his deputy chief, and expressed to him some of the challenges that I had with how it was explained to the community. So in my mind, it was cameras that had the facial recognition technology that was implemented inside of that camera system being used for surveillance. That's how it was communicated to us. Okay? So then the community didn't know what the reality was. They said it was involved as well, included as well inside of the green light technology as well. We didn't know that. So what we found out is that what they're talking about is utilizing the cameras the way you utilize cameras, but the software which the city council did approve in 2017, to be honest, 2017 we approved a system that allowed software for a facial recognition technology. That facial recognition technology, what they do is they implement a photo into the software, and it gives that's in that photo. They start with first individuals that are already within the criminal justice system, individuals who are on parole and within that system. Now, I've also heard that they may utilize photos from the like your license, your driver's license. I have not been able to confirm that. I didn't ask him that question directly. I should have.
Councilman Tate, that is my understanding that not only will this facial recognition technology be drawing from mugshots from the FBI, but also from our driver's license database to the Secretary of State's office and social media photos that people take and just put up out there on the internet.
So what I'm saying is what they have been doing, because what they did say now is because they've been called out for not having a policy. They said they're not going to use the software until they have a policy approved by the Board of Police Commissioners.
Yes, that
so
is
I understand what they're saying, but they haven't presented anything yet.
And there's also, as you know, Councilman, there is Isaac Robinson's proposed
I got that. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. So I just wanted people to understand what we're dealing with right now. These are not cameras themselves that have the technology, because I was confused. Many people have no idea of what is actually being considered. They just hear facial recognition technology.
Well, I gotta interject because
yesterday you can't interject.
Can you talk about Mayor Duggan's email?
No, I'm not going to talk about Mayor Duggan's email. I'm going to talk about what I'm saying first, and then we can talk about everybody else.
Okay.
So what we have is a situation. We again have not been provided anything from City Council in terms of policy. We don't know what's being proposed. We were the ones in the initial phase, and when Mayor Duggan came to the council and said, yeah, we're going to put this out into the community, we're going to have the crime centers. So we like that, and I don't know, some of you may have had petitions that you signed saying that you want these cameras, but there was no policy at all around this technology, even with the cameras. And we were hearing that it would potentially have facial recognition technology, but they never said it. And so I would ask people in the community, do you really know what you're signing? People just want to be safe, period. I just want to be safe. And if the cameras are going to help make me be safe, sure. But there also are compromises that you're being asked, but you're not being told. And that's the issue. We have to find out what are those compromises that we are being asked, but not being told. And so we're now being told that there is already the software that utilizes facial recognition technology. Now, the police department is saying that it's similar to a sketch. And like Attorney Martin said, that's the argument that is on the table. Let me know from your understanding if there's anything different. I'm not talking about legislation that's moving. I'm not talking about what somebody said. I just want to level set so that people know what is actually being debated. Not all of these other different things. Have you heard anything different? If not, then I want to give the mic to this young lady here.
Yes, just to reiterate, when I attended the Board of Police Commissioners meeting yesterday at Public Safety Headquarters, Chief Craig was there, and he said emphatically, we only use the technology on still photographs.
Correct.
It is never used in a surveillance capacity.
Correct.
That is what he said.
All right. So we're not talking about surveillance. That was my understanding when it first came before us, that we're going to have cameras surveilling you with facial recognition technology. Now we're peeling back the layers of the onion and realizing it's technology that's already there. You can use a still photo pretty much from anywhere. All right, so before we let you go, there was an individual over here had their hand up. Yeah.
My question is...
We got you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Councilman.
Good
I
afternoon.
want to get clarification because when they're saying this, they give us the impression, just basic, the cameras will be able to recognize an individual. But when you broke this down, it put me in a state of confusion because they're going by sketches. I've been hoodwinked and manipulated into giving Facebook my driver's license, and now they're going to take that and put it in a system. So it seems like there's just misleading information all the way around. All the way around. So which, as you explain it and you break it down, and with the attorney speaking, it's making me more against it now.
So is it because you're confused, or you don't know exactly what is being contemplated, or what's the part that makes you more
Well,
against it now than you were when you walked in the room?
Because then you're manipulating me and getting my information. When I had a Facebook page and they just had my name, Val Berry, they said that I couldn't use that. They blocked me. They made me surrender to them my driver's
You're talking
license.
about Facebook.
So that means that when you stated they're going to use the driver's license, how would they get it other than from my social media page?
Well, they can get it from the state of Michigan. Yeah, Secretary of State.
But it's just not fair. I don't think I'm going to like it because I think it'll be misused somewhere along the line. It'll be false accusations.
Okay.
I'm starting to be against it.
No.
Unless we can truly know what's going on in politics, they will never let us know that.
And that's what I'm asking. See, so here's the other piece. It's about trust. It's about trust. And what type of policies, for those of you who raised your hand, who said, you know what, I would be for it if there were some strong policy around it. What would those policies be? What would be the layers that you would be comfortable with allowing to go through so that you would be supportive or potentially supportive of this technology? I'll come to you because I know you have a long list.
I wouldn't really feel comfortable, as she stated, if they're going to have FBI people present. We also do need to have 2 attorneys present.
Okay, so let's walk through it. So now somebody gets shot and killed, and the video camera shows the incident that took place, but they don't know who this person is, right? So now they take a still from the video. Now they're trying to find out who this individual is. Is it okay to send that video or that still photo out to the community? Just period. No, I'm saying let's take layers. I'm asking because we need to build it. So is it okay, in your opinion, to shoot that video, to send that video capture, just send it to the news and have the news broadcast that photo?
It's already been done. It's been done.
So are you okay with that?
I've been okay with
Okay.
it. I haven't been okay with all of it, but it's already been being done.
I'm only asking this because it's people who don't agree with that. So you say yes.
To find the shooter, yes.
Yes, okay. So now, if they are also using as a potential tool, investigative tool, you have someone who may create a sketch of that particular person. You don't necessarily, I guess in that situation, maybe it's a person who was with them, a sketch. And then the police department sends that sketch out to the media. Are you okay with that?
You said the sketch of the person that was with.
Yeah, the accomplice. Or the potential accomplice.
Yes, because you can get information from that person.
Okay. So now, if they send that photo that they sent out to the media, that capture of the video, that the same one they sent out to the media into the system, the facial recognition technology system, or let's just say first they go on social media. We do that. Now they're going on social media because they do this too, and I do it whenever I interview anybody for a job application. I go in and I look on their social media and all that good stuff. Aaron will tell you. He passed the test. So is it okay if police go on your social media and review it to try to find you?
That's invasion of someone's privacy.
How is it private? It's the World Wide Web.
True, but to find a criminal, I do agree with it. It has its pros and its cons.
Okay.
It depends, because now here recently, they used that identity, the photo identity thing, and they had apprehended the wrong individual.
Absolutely. Nothing is foolproof.
And that's where it has flaws. That's because it was nowhere close to what the individual was that actually had. And that's where we have to really, really look into this. We need to have people present, someone present on behalf of the people, since we can't be there.
Right.
An attorney will be great.
So let me just ask you. So sketches. Have you seen those sketches that go out?
I've seen some of the sketches.
Some of those sketches look,
and some of them have not even been remotely close.
Right. So are you okay with banning sketches? Because they're not always accurate either. And typically when a crime occurs, you're not making sure you get all the facial stuff from the person. You're fleeing potentially, or you're in distress. Are you okay with banning sketches because they're not completely accurate either?
You can't ban sketches in its entirety. It depends. My situation where I was attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a sketch.
Oh, Michael, just a little bit more.
I was able to give a description. When I looked at the sketch, it was pretty good. The person had done it. Some sketches are good and some aren't. It depends. Everything has its pros and cons. Once again, if we get it, it's good. It's still gonna have pros and cons, and if we don't, it's still gonna. It's everything. It's just not. Nothing is gonna be 100%.
So where are you with the argument now? Because now that
Still
same
where I
argument,
was.
that argument is the same for sketches that you're okay with, but it's not okay for the technology, the facial recognition
and
technology.
the only reason is because last month when they identified a person, and then when they actually got the correct person, because that was not the right person, and I said, okay. So I do understand your point, but
There have been many people through sketches that have been falsely accused as well.
very true.
And I'm not pushing for it either way. I just want us to have the counterpoint.
I just believe that eventually the law is going to turn it against us anyway, period. That's another fear I have.
All right. So let's go on this side.
Okay,
Hold your mic up.
I'm not going to say that I'm totally against it. I'm going to say because it depends on the reasoning behind it. Okay, I don't know if everybody knows, but the new iPhone has facial recognition to even unlock your phone. So, you know, who's to say that they can't use that information? And that's been going on. The iPhone 10X or something like that's been out for maybe over a year. And so people like to just, do that. That's in this generation. But to use someone's facial recognition in the point of a criminal type of thing or trying to, make a case for someone, I feel like that shouldn't be the first result. It shouldn't be the first thing they jump on automatically like, okay, let's use this facial recognition, because in a lot of cases it could be wrong. That should be like the last resort. Okay, if we can't just get to that point, we can use it, but it has to have, its policy and its reasoning behind it. Just how maybe the iPhone is just strictly to unlock the phone book, was to say, like I said. That's really what it is. And people think, in this generation, we want the fast, we want the, to Snapchat, the little, filters people use in their pictures is facial recognition. You send that information to, or the fun.
The world.
Yeah, the fun grandpa,
And they're saying recently that may be going to the Russians.
Right, and so we think it's all nice and fun. And, in this generation, we don't read the little fine print. We just download it and keep going. So, once we're educated on what it's really used for and its policy and its stipulations, I feel like it could potentially be a good thing, but it shouldn't be the first resort in a criminal type of. And that's taking it kind of too far, though.
So what if I said that the facial recognition technology would only be able to shrink the pool of individuals that you are now looking for? This doesn't give you the right to go and arrest, detain, or even question that person, because that person that the facial recognition technology may not even live in the city, may be incarcerated at the time and had no ability to do it. So clearly, it's just a tool. If I say you can't arrest just on them, you still have to go through the same levels of scrutiny to arrest and detain somebody that you do from any other investigation, which again, many investigations have been flawed. I sit on the Internal Operations Standing Committee where we approve lawsuits, so I know that did not use facial recognition technology. So if I told what say you?
Like I said before, with policy,
Hold on just a
with policy and procedure, I feel like it would be a good thing, like you said. At that point of an investigation, if it's the last result, then we would look into it. That wouldn't be the first thing on the the desk in the morning, let's look at their facial recognition and figure out, that would be like, okay, we went through this procedure, we did this, we went through this paperwork, and we still couldn't get it, so this should be an option. No, it shouldn't be the first step. It should be like, put some work into it before you go off and do it. But I feel like it would be beneficial for instances like that. But a lot of people aren't aware of, they thought just off of a Facebook thing that it was fun, and now it could be in the hands of our enemies. So people just don't know.
Okay. Anybody else? Aaron? We got you.
I just have to say that the MPO didn't say why they were going around with boarding up houses on the east side, but I happen to have inside information there since the serial killing. They were all pulled to look for bodies prior to them boarding up the houses. And believe me, I bet there's a lot stashed on the west side too. People don't want to. So something that will enhance their ability really needs to be considered with some things in place, but we just don't have the bodies out there to protect us. So
do we believe that, because you just said protect, how will the facial recognition technology protect us?
Well, I think cameras have been a huge deterrent.
Well, cameras are different. Cameras are different. Because we're talking again, the facial recognition technology. We're going to get the cameras.
But
if
the criminals know that that's out there too, then we're likely to get caught. I think it's been a deterrent for home break-ins, for business break-ins, hasn't it? I mean, it's just another tool. I talked to an officer as I was leaving the meeting the other night, and he's just one officer, but he said it's just one more tool for us. I mean, we need whatever we can get to help us find the criminals. So,
okay. Aaron?
There was a question on the Facebook Live that I wanted to get to. I'm not sure if you all have already asked this question, but has best practices been provided to City Council from other major cities already utilizing this technology?
So,
have policies in place?
Good question. So we have not, as City Council, received any best practice policies. Right now, it's going through the Board of Police Commissioners. They have the first level of scrutiny technically they have the authority to say yes or no in terms of if they can use the technology or not by our charter. But we as City Council have the ability to the purse strings, so to speak. The challenge is we've already purchased the technology. And so some will say it's on us, it's our fault. I will take some of the blame for that. When it was presented, it was in conjunction with Homeland Security and being able to aid in potential terrorist situations around some of our sensitive infrastructure. So again, I'll take some of the blame for that because I did not demand a policy at that point. Didn't click then. It clicked when it came the second time around. Unfortunately, we already have the software. So now the Board of Police Commissioners, it's on them to say yes or no if they can or cannot utilize this technology. And because of the community coming out, honestly, it has put the brakes on it and made people think from the Board of Police Commissioners, should they or should they not do it? Because I was very disappointed and disheartened when many of the members of the Board of Police Commissioners came to council, and before they even heard about a policy, they flat out said, yes, I support it. And I said, well, have you had any communication with the community about it? Now we're talking about the cameras everywhere and facial recognition technology. And they were still okay with it because they trust the department. And I trust and love the department. not utilize a piece of technology, because individuals change. Systems is what you have to worry about, and how that system operates over a period of time. Oliver Cole, I know you have something to say on it. Oh, so you're next, but I want to hear you as well. No, when she finishes.
Okay, to add to the young lady about other cities, who are we communicating with the other cities to find out what is going on? How's it working for them?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to reinvent it if they already have something we can use or work with.
So what we're doing now, we're identifying what cities actually do utilize it within the country. There have been 3 cities that have banned it. One being San Francisco. Another is, I think it's Somerville, Massachusetts. And the other is Oakland, California. They just did it a couple of days ago. So those are 3 that actually banned it and said, no, we're not going to utilize it. And if I'm not mistaken, what I've read, the majority of it was because of the accuracy of the software on people of color. Now, have not done any other survey, haven't heard any other information. We're waiting to receive that information. We've put a memo together for our legislative policy division, as well as within the Board of Police, with the police department, to find out what information have they gathered from around the country, from cities and municipalities that are already utilizing this technology. Now, when you go overseas, like China, they actually use the camera system almost for a social merit type of system. So if you are someone who is come from a certain family, you don't even have to have a criminal background. You automatically are already on a heightened level of scrutiny, period. And that camera, it does have the facial recognition technology in it, and it's all around. They have the same kind of technology, not so much with the merit system, within London as well, over in England. Same kind of situation. So we have not, as council, reached out to any of these municipalities. What we're doing is waiting for the department and the Board of Police Commissioners to present it to us. But as Attorney Martin has alluded to, there's some state level action that is being taken. And before we go to Albert, if you can come and give Attorney Martin the microphone, please. If you can talk a little bit about
Our state representative, well, my state representative, I should say, I'm out of District 8, is Sherry Kay Dagnogo, and she signed on to a bill that was proposed by State Representative Isaac Robinson. The proposal is to ban facial recognition technology for a period of 5 years. So a 5-year more. You know, I would think that during the 5 years, perhaps facial recognition technology could be improved, because it does have a high error rate. 84% to 91% is the error rate. I think that is pretty high. But this is what the House bill is about: a 5-year moratorium on facial recognition technology until it can be studied further. And I don't know if it will pass, but that is what's pending up in the Michigan legislature.
So I've heard a lot about failure rate, and this is the thing that I have a big question about. So here's my question: when we start talking about failure rate, are we talking about it being because the way that it's explained to me is that it rates individuals. So from a probability standpoint, not saying this is indeed your person. This has a 90% probability of being that person. This has a 80% probability, and so on and so forth. That's all I've heard. Are they talking about the one they say is the top individual, or are they saying within it all?
This technology, this Amazon technology, failure, major fail. They also tested this technology on other members of Congress. And to 91%. This technology was developed city. And as your councilman indicated, Somerville, Massachusetts is also banned it, and also Oakland, California. All because there was talk of implementing facial recognition technology. Population in our state, and we don't want issues of concern. That Chief Craig did say yesterday at the Board of Police on a facial recognition technology. Interesting, and it is a tool to be used. I'm all for technology. I just want if it is going to be rolled out at all. And I do think that there should be a ban.
Litmus test in terms of improved failure rate. 100 probably won't make it.
100%. Polling is usually anywhere from 1 to 6%. I could go as high as 10%. But I can tell you, I perform oversight. I've gone all across the city. I've been at police precincts. I've been in hospitals. I've been at the and the photos are just incredible. I mean, can be enhanced to make certain things fit. So this is why proper legal framework, proper policy, and
Good Friday afternoon first. First and foremost, I'm Oliver Cole from the Grand Mount One Improvement Association, and just in case 30 to 9 p.m. This is live blues music. On Acacia Park, which is the park between Rose. Drive right next to or across the street from the Macedonia Baptist Church. This is 2019. I've done events, commercial corporate events, and the standing joke with me is people that come up to me and say, "Oh, gee, I don't want my picture taken." And my standard quick answer right away is say, "Well, you should have stayed home. Because before you got here, you've been photographed 20, maybe 30 times. Give you some history. This ain't nothing new. When the space shuttle blew up, the Challenger in 1984, they used telescopes and cameras on the Earth to take pictures of the broken tiles so they could tell which one to replace from the Earth. My brother got drafted in 1973 to go to Vietnam. They gave him a choice. You can do 18 months in Vietnam, and you can do 3 years in Vietnam, or 18 months in Army Intelligence. Well, Mama didn't raise no fools. He chose Army Intelligence. Guess where he was stationed? Fort Huachuca, Arizona. What does that mean? That's where the Army communicates and intercepts conversations all over the world. Guess what his job was in 1973? Interrogating Arabic prisoners. We wasn't fighting the Arabs. That was his job. That's what he learned, speak and interrogate Arabic prisoners in 1973. That's how far ahead the government is thinking. You got a cell phone. Even if it's off, they can record everything you say and hear. They can see you. I usually on my laptop, I cover up the camera. So this software program is technology that the Detroit Police Department has had since 2017 and has used since 2017.
With no policy.
It didn't matter. They used it. So
But it matters.
Here's the issue now. That horse is long since, we know, that's Secretariat now. They didn't cross the finish line with that bud. You trying to stop something that's long gone. You better be on the next wave of communication technology, not something that's already been done and been used and probably been used successfully as a tool. Now, the only problem with government surveillance comes when you become a political dissident, like China, or like Poland, or like Venezuela. And we aren't that far behind. Your whatever post becomes a permanent record. So this technology, while it's new, it's not improved. Well, yeah, it is improved. Because I used to say all the time, as a photographer, and they show you pictures of people that rob banks, I said, who the heck is this? I could take a better silhouette than what they showed me. I said, where's all the high-tech cameras that I know they have? But so this technology is out here, it's being used. The only problem I have with the Detroit Police Department and the various other agencies that got it here is the lie that they hold. Tell me the truth, because I already know what the facts are. Just tell the public the truth, and we'd be okay.
But I think you just hit on the big issue, the trust. So
There's
how
no trust now.
so if I can't trust you to tell me the truth on the front end, how can I trust you to utilize the technology properly when it's in your hands?
Okay, now that's out of my atmosphere, because that's now in the atmosphere of, first of all, the mayor of the city of Detroit, the city council who approved the funds, Chief James Craig who authorized the use, and the police department.
Police commission.
Police
commission comes up. They are the one that approves the policy.
Okay.
By charter. By charter.
That's how it's supposed to work.
That's by charter. That's the law.
We know that a lot of these semi-quasi government agencies ain't no more than rubber stamps.
But they're not semi. They are government.
Still, rubber stamps. They don't understand the technology. Somebody said, here's a plate of chicken, here, vote for this, and they voted. That's simple as that. But the point is that the public, John Q. Public, on the street, does not trust.
No, that's why we're having this conversation. Let's go over here on this side there. Josh. It's Josh. Josh. Okay, yes. Yeah, it is up first. Then we'll come to you.
I think the problem is trusting the government altogether. Trusting the government altogether is not the way this country is designed. The forefathers set this country up to have little control and give the control back to the people. So doing this kind of thing, I think, is I think it gives up freedom and liberty. I think, like George Washington, he said that he didn't want to be a king because he was afraid. If you have this in place, and we do, like you said, we do have this in place on the government and federal level, but I think that we should have more things in place. We as a people should stop things like this from happening, to not have to trust the government, but to have things in place where they cannot take over things in the future with bad people getting in charge.
So where do you stand? Are you, because you weren't here when we did the poll, are you okay with facial recognition technology, period? Or are you okay with facial recognition technology with a policy, or you don't care, just get the facial recognition technology, the cameras, because we just want as many tools as possible?
I'm open to the argument, but I don't have a real strong feeling either way. I don't think it should be, I I don't think it should be in place, truthfully, but I don't think it should be in place because I think the money could be used for more police officers as opposed to the technology that's being put in place with that. I think that's a better way to do it. That's just me.
All right, appreciate it.
So thank you.
I have a question that has nothing to do with this, if that's okay. I've just been waiting.
Yes, ma'am.
I understand there's a 313 birthday celebration coming up. And do you know anything about that? I think that's a Sherry kind of question.
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Crowell. I know it's a Crowell. Do you know
On the
when and
26th.
where? What time?
It's not my office. I will have to. We'll find to see if we can find it online. Issue the 313.
Okay, now y'all can get back to your discussions.
Well, don't ask me about somebody else's stuff. Here.
Heard they got a picnic. Whatever. Hold on.
I love my state rep. But this is hot because this is something that's going to be in front of us to vote on, and we've got to really deal with this as a community. It's not just my decision. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, like the young lady said about the phones and
Hold it up so we can hear you.
like the young lady said about the phones with the face recognition, it's not good, period. And the phone's been out for a while with all the face recognition. I have a set of twin daughters, but if I lock my phone, they can unlock it with their face. We ain't got the same face, we ain't the same person. And the phone's been out for years. Only way things are gonna get better, you know, they keep saying, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna put this in place to help this and to help that. We gotta help ourselves. We gotta open up our mouths and speak and say, hey, this is what's going on, instead of being afraid to say anything or to do anything. And that's what a lot of the problems are. People are scared to come out and say anything. They don't want to tell that Pookie next door robbed Suzanne down the street, because Pookie gonna come back and do something.
All right.
I hear everything that we're saying, and I hear you saying we have. The city council and the state representatives have to speak for us. Truly, Big Brother is going to do what he wants to do. So really, to me, it matters very little what we're saying, what we want to do. It will matter, but truly, as it goes up the line, they're still going to do it the way they want to do it. They're going to bypass those laws, the rules and the regulations, as they always have. So
when you say they, who are they?
They is
let's be real. Am I
no.
But I'm a government official. I'm a legislator. Oh, I'm on the lower end.
Now all that's not coming from me. That's not coming from me.
I ain't worried about that. I know what you meant. I know what you meant.
You are.
I'm a they.
You are our voice. You're the next step. We come to you, our city council people, to take our voice, take our concerns, our issues to them. And the they is the federal government, the United States government, because all of that is going to trickle up. And they like everyone said, they're already listening in with the technology, with the TVs, the computers, the phones. So really it's going to boil down that we're saying this, we want that, we don't want this, we don't want that. You'll take it back for us. They may start off that way. A few years go past, they're going to do it their own way.
Have you ever heard the term that all politics are local?
I've heard it.
So a lot of times we care about, and we should, care about the president. We really should care about the presidential race and the politics on that level. And the federal level, our senators and our congressmen and women. But many of us don't know anything about the folks who are right here. You can reach out and touch. We're doing this. This has nothing to do with, this here is not in our charter. Doing it because I want to reach out and find out what and what you guys want me to do when I sit there at the table. Gives me a better understanding. Yes, ultimately I will be making the vote, but that's two sides of every story and of every debate. So I say that to say we represent you, and it's up to us to help push that information up. So I'm a they. I'm part of them. I'm part of government. Because I'm here, but I'm also here listening to you and trying to figure out what is the right decision. What is the best decision? That's why we're taking this much time in the meeting. We've talked about it in other meetings as well. I can't say whatever decision I make is going to be right, but it's going to be well thought out. And it'll be one that is going to be within the community. It's going to be based on conversations within our community, not just because somebody told me, because my mother, she just said do it because she's one of those folks, I don't care, I don't have anything to run from, I don't have anything to hide from. Once I started telling her some of these challenges, she started having some questions, like, wait a minute, I never thought about that. So my job is also to inform you about those challenges and those issues, and then utilize that information you give back to me and make that decision and then push it up. Because there's, like Attorney Martin said, there's state legislation that is there to now deal with this issue too that we have to start talking about. Should we put a 5-year moratorium on this technology now that Oliver Cole pointed out police have already been using? State police, they don't even hide from it. They said they've been using it for like 5 years, I believe it is, and there's been no uproar about Michigan State Police using it at all.
That's because we were not aware.
So now we're aware. Where are we? Where are the folks going to state police?
First of all, you have to give us time to let this information soak in, let us think about it, process it, because all of a sudden we're being bombarded with issues, questions, concerns, comments, statements. Let me chew on this for a minute, and then I can come back to you after I've regurgitated something else.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So we have let's get somebody who has not had an opportunity to speak yet. We got an individual over here. So we got the mic coming to you. Aaron. With the hat.
The first thing I want to ask is, has the technology adversely affected anybody in the city of Detroit?
Great question. And we're awaiting, so I saw an article in the paper that had some statistics from an interview with Chief Craig, but Council Member Pro Tem Sheffield submitted a memo requesting that very information. How many times has it been used? And what were the results of those particular investigations? So we don't have that information right now from the city council standpoint, but we're awaiting that information. But according to an article, I believe it indicated that it's been used like 500 times, and of the 500, 130, there was 130 matches or something along that line. But again, I don't want to give you bad information. That's just what I kind of sort of remember from a news article. Somebody is on their phone, they can pull it. I should see if we can find that article. It just hit a couple of days ago, if not yesterday. But I have not heard of anyone, there hasn't been anyone in Detroit that has claimed to be adversely affected because they probably didn't know it was being used.
Well, secondly, I just want to say I'm for any tools that are available that will allow me to live in my own home without being a prisoner. And that's pretty much it.
That's right. All right, you have anybody else? You have one over here? Oh, she got one more. She said one more thing before we clear this out.
If the policy of using that technology could be supported with maybe DNA.
So, well, before you go, so tell me what does that look like to you?
Without adversely, affecting anybody, don't take any stand, don't go arrest anybody, but if it's supported by some type of DNA, no matter how small, I may go for it.
Okay. So now all crimes, you're not going to have DNA even available in all crimes. You got one?
It has to be on
Yeah, we're still on this one. Anyone? I think I saw a hand over here. Well, let's go here first. Yeah, let's go here. It's not. Just follow the flow.
First of all,
Watch me.
I'd like to just say that I don't think you should apologize to us for voting for support of the money for facial recognition, because when you polled us, only one person was against it, and most of us were for it. I see it as a tool, and I support the police officers that are trying to cut down on the crime. And you know, I know murder victims, and that we still got people saying, heartbroken, and especially older black women like myself. I have a lot of friends who are grandparents who still don't know who killed their son, who killed their grandson. I support giving the police officers all the tools that they need, and I'm sure that, well, I don't believe that anybody would be sent to prison just because they look just on facial recognition alone. It would have to be more than that. The court, you know, they don't, you know, they're not that shallow, or whatever you want to call it. And we're not, and the people are not that backwards that they, you know, they discussed, they thought about these things. People are thinking, I think you said you're part of government. I think you don't give people credit for thinking as much as they think, and they have their own ideas. Now, we've given you what we think. You said you go, or take it back. Most of your people said that they were for it. So that's not.
Well, let me just say this. It all depends. So this is one conversation. So we've had other conversations, and I'm having them in different locations as well. So I'm taking all of that in, and I also understand as well. And I mentioned this to the mayor when he came to the council table. We have to listen to not just the folks who are, like we are in this room, the community civic-minded individuals, but also the homeboys on the corner. The individuals who don't come to any community meeting at all. Everybody's, if you're a taxpaying citizen, you live in this country, you live in this city, you have a voice, and you have a right to voice that opinion. And I have an obligation to listen to those individuals as well. And I'm not hearing the same thing from those individuals overall.
I see the boys on the corner that's scared too, especially the older men. They are scared of the younger guys. So, you know, you may be surprised, you know. Everybody's not hiding. I know the last time I was here that it was brought up, the comment was made, I think by you, that, they're gonna be looking for illegals recognition, the facial recognition will be bringing out the illegals. I'm not concerned about the illegals. I'm concerned about Detroiters and, you know, the ones that are here, the ones that have been victimized for so many years, until we got people that's just fleeing the city because of it. It seems like it should come to a stop by now. But we still got the same mentality that we're against the police. The police out here just to beat us up and to stab, you know, and all of this kind of stuff. And, you know, we need to be more supportive. And if this is a tool that they say they would like to have, I'm all for it.
All right, thank you. Have one up here.
Okay, like I said, I don't care either way, but my question is this. First, illegal immigrants that are here are Detroiters too. So how is ICE using this technology? Because the raids are happening. They're a federal agency. How are they going about using this technology? Like, are they going to strong arm DPD to use this facial technology to come against illegal immigrants? Some brain shots that are being raided by ICE. So how is this technology being used by ICE here in the city of Detroit, or do we even know that? That's my only thing I would even consider. Either way, I don't care, because
I just don't, but that's just my question. I mean, it's on the phones, it's on all the phones, Android, iPhone, your fingerprint, all that crap, it's already on there, but how is ICE gonna use it? I mean, I understand y'all got it to help against terrorism because we have an international waterway. We got, you know, the tunnel and all that stuff, but how are they gonna use it?
So I'm not familiar with how ICE and the federal Department of Homeland Security uses the technology. But we as the city of Detroit have already declared that the only way that we're cooperating with ICE in those type of situations, if there's a criminal case that is involving someone who is illegally an illegal immigrant or an immigrant, period. Right? So not about any immigration issues to determine if you're a person if you're documented or not. That's not what we're talking about. So we have already declared that. The mayor said it, the chief has said it, we as city council have declared it as well. Whether we're talking about so if it's a criminal case, absolutely. It's whoever is involved in that crime, we have an obligation to help solve that crime. But as far as like the connectivity for the facial recognition technology, we don't have that with ICE. And I don't know, again, because there hasn't been a policy, that's part of the problem. I can't say definitively how it has been used. All I can say is repeat what has been stated in the meetings with me and with the interviews that have been in the media, but the policy doesn't exist right now.
But it already sounds like that their mind has already been made up. And to me,
who are they?
The people who voted for it. To me,
voted for what?
There shouldn't have been anything put on had completed their homework. On a day-to-day basis for wrongfully incarcerated. If you look at the Aaron Salter individual who did 15 years for a murder that he didn't commit. So I guess I'm kind of having a problem with it because to me, my opinion, is it seemed like it would stereotype black men, and our black men are already stereotyped. But to me, I feel that it was already implemented, and it is kind of deceitful because if the Michigan State Police has been using it without the knowledge of the people already, to me, it sounds like it's gonna pass. It's a setup. Everybody's mind is already made up. You're having discussion with the people because something was brought up to enlighten us, and so the mayor is saying, okay, we need to let the people know now because someone has gotten a hold to the truth, so we need to give them an opportunity to say something. But to me, I feel as if it has not been given to the people. And like you said, had you known the information, you wouldn't have voted for it. If you knew all of the information, but it sounded good, so hey, okay, I'll vote for it because it sounds good. But then you had you had a second mind, like, because you wasn't given all of the information. Saying as a councilman, you're part of they because you did, like you stated, I wasn't given all the facts.
But I didn't ask for it either.
But that's my point.
That's where my apology comes from.
Right.
Because I didn't ask all of these questions down the road because I wasn't thinking about it being utilized in this capacity.
Right. So I guess that's just my problem. There's a lot of pros and cons, but I'm already out strong, you know. Because a lot of them that's coming out have been done 25, 30, 40 years for a mistaken of identity. So
But so that was mistaken identity without facial recognition technology.
But that's what I'm saying. If it's mistaken identity without,
So
who's
how
to
do,
say
so how do we get it right?
how to get it right?
How do we get it right 100% where that will never happen again? All of this is part of that conversation. We don't want it? Oh, okay. I don't know if we can get it all. So we're going to wrap it up after 1 and 2, wrap up this particular part of the equation, and then I know we had another question back there. Come on, other folks. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, one side of the fence, like you say, I've seen cases on Facebook and different research I've done myself where facial recognition, where you will have someone in a mask that would depict the different or opposite race of a person. So someone could potentially go out and commit a crime and have like a whole body mask on, or put a whole bunch of makeup on. Then you have people who go out and get Botox, plastic surgery, it's a whole bunch of different instances. And you can get a hair piece, you can get a hair wig, you can, contacts, anything. So to say facial recognition would be the, that would just make criminals more, they find different, they find a different avenue or way, to go out and do what they want to do. And then on the other side, could they potentially use it if they had like some type
They do that. They do
but
that.
then, people get cataract surgery, you can get contacts, you can wear glasses, so it's never a 100% thing with this to me after hearing about it.
Okay. So that's 1 down. And then we're going to do another poll before we leave.
I think what's exonerated, though, a lot of black men, hasn't it been DNA? And DNA is a wonderful tool, and it could be that even the facial recognition could actually work the same way, and it's certainly not going to be reduced as the only evidence. I mean, it's just a small part. I mean, if there's DNA at the scene and it doesn't match up with this person, it's a done deal. So, I just feel that way, and I'm not of your culture, and I think our whole culture has to change for this inequity in the prison system as far as black men. But this is a tool, this is technology, just like DNA, and that has gone a long way to help. So this maybe could too.
All right, thank you. And were the others over there? But we wanted to go to Harrison last because it wasn't on this topic. Anybody else on this topic? Kai? You gonna give us a statement that the mayor gave yesterday?
Absolutely not.
All right. I was about to say, because we already talked about it.
Yeah, no.
Come on. Yes. Anybody else on this topic? Kai has her hand up.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kaya Robertson. I'm the deputy manager.
Come on up.
I am the deputy manager here in District 1 out of the mayor's office. And so I just really wanted to come and listen because this is a really important topic. And, just from listening, it sounds like it's pretty split, the for and against. And I just want to propose, if it's, anything like that, if anybody interested in, so that I can request a tour so that you can better understand what it would look like, what it means, what they do.
So,
yes? Yeah.
They're out for that.
They for that.
Yeah, they already said that. They're out for that.
Okay, well then I'll work on requesting a tour, and I'll get, as long as you signed in up there, I'll get your contact information, and when I get something confirmed or put in place, then I'll be reaching out to you all.
So what I want to make sure is that we make a delineation from the Real Crime Center, the tour of the crime center, and the software with the facial recognition technology. There's two different things.
Absolutely.
So the tour is great. I've been on the tour. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful facility. It's awesome. I mean, you got cameras everywhere. It is state of the art. It is needed. I am looking forward to the vote so we get a smaller mini real-time crime center over at the 8th precinct and at the 8th precinct and the 9th precinct. But what we've been talking about is the facial recognition technology.
Yes.
That's that piece. Now, are there going to be demonstrations of that as well?
Yes, to my understanding.
Oh my God.
Now, to my understanding, facial recognition technology is only once after they have a still picture. And do with it and how it gives them a lead into a crime. And so you'll better understand what that process looks like.
Where is that located?
Is that third?
It's at the public safety headquarters downtown, DPD headquarters. No, it's on 3rd Street over there by the casino.
Yes.
Yeah. But I think what you're saying is you'll set it up.
Yeah, I'm just wanting to see if that's something that you guys are interested in. And now I'll go. Alrighty, that's all I had to say.
Thank you, ma'am, as always.
Alrighty.
So, got Harrison? Well, you had a whole lot to say on the other topic, too.
Seven months.
Yeah, you've been crazy for sure then.
Yeah, but I have an opportunity to kind of blend my experience working in so that really is I'm going to be working because we don't have a union. I'll be working with and working independently from management to kind of implement those solutions. But in addition to that, I'm submitting a proposal to think about how Amazon can be a better partner in the community and improve corporate and community relations, as well as how can we support the efforts at the community level. So I'm always thinking about how I can change systems. I'm always moving, so I'm thinking about I'm hosting a listening session before I go to the next round of interviews to kind of see what the community wants, because I think Amazon could do a better job in supporting community efforts and being a better partner and thinking more creatively than just I guess most people just ask for like grants for money and things like that, but like thinking a little bit more creative for how can we really be embedded within the things that are happening in the community, whether that's having a group of employees come volunteer, or using some of the technologies or the things that we have, or vice versa. So I just want to put that out there, and I'll give my contact information.
When is the listening session?
This is something I just thought of as I was sitting right there.
See what happens when you're here in the District 1?
So, I'm always available. Well, yeah, a little bit. But I'll put my contact information out there again. My cell phone number is 313-970-2074. And again, huh?
Say, do you got the job hookup?
I'm in charge. I'm in the learning department, so I actually train new hires, but I do help out with the recruitment. But that's a whole other side, so I'm not gonna say I have the direct hookup, but I can put you in contact with somebody that can help you out with that. And then that person will come see me. It's time to get trained.
Are you saying that Amazon is looking for agencies to partner with?
They're not. I'm submitting a proposal because of my community background. I think that we can do a better job as a corporate entity within the community. So this is something I've requested. I met with the leadership, and this is something they want to see. I have to draw up the whole proposal to see how and scale it out. We're gonna probably do some pilots on some things. it'd probably be a whole nother position on top of what I'm already applying for, but I think it's definitely needed. Especially with the drawback with the headquarters that they're trying to do in New York, and some of the drawback that they're getting with the community, not wanting it.
So, when do you think? What's the time frame for this listening? Because that's essentially what you want to get feedback from. When are you looking time frame wise?
Listening ideas, reaching out to people, but it's going to be an ongoing process. It's not a quick turnaround type of thing because it has to clear tape,
Gotcha.
But I want to start working on something because I think it's definitely needed.
Howdy, y'all. You proper. I'm a to kind of Riviera since do and the ones that on behalf of the citizens next door to me, if I have to boss up one more land bank still being left just for the house.
Well,
No. And I'm gonna come to your meetings for the Detroit Land Bank every time vacant house with crime on it. There's no point. 8th precinct.
Speed up some demos over and down. Make sure you get your information to Aisha about for you, please.
Okay, one more thing. You need the number for Cynthia.
Thank you.
June is Tate has been a firm supporter. It's a group of Councilman Tate his award. This is the deed.
Time. And I know some other folks had questions. Yeah, all right.
I got it now.
We were having it at Wayne. For it, but now it's the DET group. Okay. Lunch, they not at school. Kids, we keep going. That's all. And then every it's just
but you unabashed.
the people that's actually going into the studio every day or trying to keep a 26 and the youth do it. We just recognize Facebook. That's what all of the group members say.
So you're a member of O'Hare Park, and we. We're going to continue to support you.
All right, thank you.
Facial recognition technology. Policy if it comes our way. Very good. I know it's a trick question. About who now feels for to be able to use against facial recognition technology being used, period. Policy is that you would agree to. That you would
I just got a problem with the federal. Running in. First of all, if you really illegal immigrants, that thing. You don't have to be a different nationality. Their life, you know, so local business.
Yeah.
Period.
This conversation is not going to end. Before us, what's going to be happening.
How is it that individuals so how can we be
3 times down in the community? Do you know, Ms. Murphy, the
or maybe you can go on the website.
commissioners and you'll see it come up. As far as city council goes, I believe Council President Jones has town hall, you can call it what you want, where we talk about this issue in September. This is our last salary. And we've never had but we have a very important topic that we wanted to discuss. District 1 has the ability the other rest of the here's the catch. There's always a catch. The NEZ is, even though it's available in your area, after 1996. Piece to it is the house has to have been platted. House can't be built out. And you're within it. Property taxes right now. So we're going to give you the this, and some are doing it on a larger may not be able. We have to have that conversation. So we provide it our because we haven't created necessarily ratio, and so we're not creating. When I say gentrification, I'm not just talking about the color of skin. I'm saying question here before?
Said the reason being that by because I'm on the east side as well as the west. $650 rent, $700. More home.
So the NEZ is already here. Of where the NEZ is, so it's already here. So we.
There are 3 people that I can say right away. They want to.
So August 8th is the meeting date. Red. 197. Burke Road. Thursday, August 8th. Hello.
I got 2 things real quick. Morning, we got them fresh out the garden. Ago. You're welcome to all you. Did all of that today, so we got plenty. Sidewalk Festival right here at the village. That day with the new band. So happy, one more time, happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
All right, that's husband points. Husband points. Get them when you can.